Hi guys, I am going to talk about this topic, Asian education. It's chapter number 2. Good, the education of new skill found in life is remarkable human ability. However, this ability is limited by the age of education. That is, the age at which learning occurs significantly after the outcome. This is most clearly reflected in endowments such as languages, music, and athletics. Models both monolingual lexical. Processing and bilingual languages education. They consider the condition under which sympathetic processing and semantic processing may be different in second language educations. Good. Introduction. The introduction to this topic is the increased part of ratio of first language education in the last half of the 20th century attract attention, not only of linguists in many subjects, but also of educators in very language related fields. For example, teacher trainers are required to study first language education, particularly education after age 5 years. I don't know, in order to improve their understanding of the task of teaching language skills to native speakers. We should different be able to learn something from systematic study of the first language learning experiences. Is how the second language teacher should interpret the many factors and something conflict features of first languages research. Um, First language education is starting very early childhood, but second language education can happen in childhood early or late as well in adulthood. Good. The dam is the spelling missed. The first step in investigation Asian education myth to be dispelled some myths about the relationship between first and second languages educations. Good. Number one, in language teaching, we must practice and practice again and again. Must watch and a small child learning his mother tongue. Language learning is made better of imitation. Just like a small child, he imitate everything. Number three, a small child listen and speaker and no one word dream of making him read or write. Writing and writing at advantage state of language development. Number four, a small child simply use languages. He doesn't learn formal grammar. You don't tell him about verbs or nouns. Yet he learned the language perfectly. It is equally necessary to use grammatical concentration in teaching and foreign languages. Understand, I was processing speakings. Good. Types of comparison and contrast. The comparison of first and second language education can easily be oversimplified. It is in one sentence logical to compare the first language education of a child with the second language education of an adult. This involves trying to draw analogy not only between first and second languages learning situations, but also between children and adults. It is much more logical to compare first and second language learning in children or to compare second language learning in children and adults. Good. Types of comparison contracts. The C1 and C2 is a first and second languages education in children. On hardened age contents. And C2 and A2, second language education in children and adults, hardened second language constant. C1 and A2, first language education in children and second language education in adults. Good. A first language L1 in children is given as C1. And in adults, A1 as a second language L2. In children is believed to have a C2 and adult is A2. Good. Critical period hypothesis. Most discussion about age and education center on the question of there is um whether there is a critical period for language education, the logical determinate period of life when a language can acquire more easy and beyond which time language is incredibly difficult to acquire. Good. Them is neurological consideration. One is the most promised areas and acquired in age acquisition research has been the study of the function of the brain in the process of acquisition. Then, finally, is hemisphere lateration. Some scholars have signed out the lateration of the brain as the key to answering such a question in the children, in the adult, I don't know, whatever. There is evidence of neurological research that has the human brain natures. Good, certain functions assign the lateration to the left hemisphere of the brain and certain other function to right. Hemisphere intellectual logical and analyze function able to be laterally locked in the left hemisphere while the right hemisphere control function relate to emotion and social needs. Good. Them is biological time bulls and is about the one of the most compelling argument for an accent-related critical period come from Thomas Scoville, 1888, fascinating in multidisciplinary review of the evidence that has a be amazed. Good. Them is right hemispheric participation. Good. This about yet another branch of neurological research focus on the role of the right hemisphere in the acquisition of a second language content. James 1882, I concluded that there may be great right hemisphere involved in language processing and bilingual. Good, who acquired the second language relative on their first language and bilingual who learn in informal contexts. Good, them is anthropological evidence. Some adults have been known to acquire an authentic accent in the second language after the age of puberty, but some individuals are few and far between. One unique instance of second language education in adulthood has reported Saracen. And finally, the significance of accent. Okay. Completing the comment of pretty section in assumption that emergence of what we commonly call foreign accent. It is some important in our argument about age and occasions. Good. Cognitive considerations. Human cognitive develops quickly, found in first 50 or 60 years of life and lesser quick learning after. Some cognitive changes are critical, others are more gradual, difficult to detect. Stage, okay. Audit the cursive intellectual development shield the various stages. For example, sense motor stage, virtu, performation stage age 2 to 7, and operation stage age 7 to 16. Concurrent operation stage is about the age 7 to 11. And finally, formal operation stage is about age 11 to 16. Good. Affect consideration. Let's talk about human beings are emotion creators at the heart of the fun and meaning and action emotion. Research of the affect dominant second language education has been monthly studied for a number of decades. Small babies at first do not have even distinction separation between themselves and the world around them. As our children grow older, they become more more aware themselves, more self-consideration as they speak about to define and to understanding their self-identity. They therefore develop in a vision about this self-identity, fearing to expose too much self-doubt. I don't know. At puberty, their inhibitions are heavy in the trauma of undergoing critical physical, cognitive, and emotional change. Good. This about linguistic consideration. We have a software locked and learns themselves and consider a numbers of different easy and age to occasions. Good. Bilinguals is about include the children learning through language simulation occurred then by the use of similar strategies. Good. And finally, interference between first and second languages is talk about a good idea and research on non-simulation second language education in both children and adults has focuses on the interpreter's effect of the first and second languages. Good. Practice, input, and discourse. Practice to many language class are filed with rule practice, had, centers, and server forms. Most cognitive physical agree that the frequency of similitude, the numbers of times spent practice and form are not important in learning data. Good. Input is about, in the case of classroom second language learning, parent input in replaced by teacher input. Good. And finally, this course is about as a source of better way of teacher communication compared to second language learning. Research on the adhesion of this course become more and more important. Good. The characteristics of the maybe summary up in the long list. Good is talk about um the recommendations. Sorry. For example, I'm going to talk about 3 characters of maybe summary and uploading list. Okay. The material, the new material is present in dialogue form. Number 2 is vocabulary and strict limit and learning in context. Good. And finally, is for me the most important. Good. Great important in attractive pronunciations. And I don't know, everything is clear. Thank you for your attention. I'm Alejandra. Nice to meet you and see you.